Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our chapter number 2 of your science book, that is Matter Around Us Pure? So first of all, we have done matter in our first chapter also. Like matter is your anything which occupies space and has mass. Now you will see that how we will classify the matter. You will see that we will classify the matter according to their physical state. They may be solid, liquids, or gases. On the basis of their chemical composition, they can be divided into pure substances and mixture. Pure substances are of two types: elements and compounds. And mixtures are also two types, that is your homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So matter is two types: pure substances and mixtures. And pure substances, elements and compounds, and mixtures, homogeneous and heterogeneous. So first of all, we'll discuss about the pure substances and the mixture. So you will see that pure substance is a substance which contains only one type of the substance. Such substances are your pure substance. For example, iron, copper, hydrogen, gold, they will contain only one type of the substance. So mixture, you will see that it is a mixture which contains two or more type of the compounds or substances, like sea water. In sea water you can see that there are many salts dissolved in it, like soil, air, sand, sugar in water. These all are your mixtures. So what will be the difference between the pure substances and the mixture? You will see that pure substance will contain only single type of substance. Mixture will contain two or more pure substances. And pure substance, you will see that since it is containing only one type of compound, so we cannot separate them. They can't be separated by physical methods. But mixtures, we can separate them by the physical methods. Like you have taken the mixture of the sugar and the sand, sugar or rice, you can easily separate by hand picking methods. You can separate the sugar separately and the rice separate. So you will see that the pure substances have their definite properties, and mixture shows the properties of its compounds. So types of the mixtures, there are the two types of the mixture: homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixture, like I have taken sugar and I dissolve that into the water, then you will see that such type of mixture is your homogeneous mixture, in which you can't see them both the components separately, rather they appear to as us as a single component. So that you will see that the particles of the mixture cannot be seen by naked eye. Like, and you can see that the mixture of sugar in water, salt. And if we talk about heterogeneous mixture, suppose you have dissolved soil in water, then what you will see, that you will see that you can see separately the soil and the water components. So such type of mixtures are your heterogeneous mixtures. Like you have dissolved oil in water, then you can see both the components, like oil is also visible to us, and there will be the separate boundaries, and these boundaries will be visible to us. And in case of homogeneous, there are no separate boundaries. Both the components appear to us as a single component, where in case of heterogeneous, both components will appear to us as different components. So this type of mixtures is your heterogeneous mixture. So we have also done about the true solutions. This type of mixtures is your heterogeneous mixture. So true solution. If you talk about true solution, since we have also discussed that the solution has two components, solute and the solvent. If we talk about solute, you will see that the substance which is present in the less quantity in a solution is your solute. Like I have dissolved sugar in water, then that sugar will be your solute, and the solution will be your that sugar water. So you will see that. And the solvent, if we talk about solvent, you will see that the substance which is present in more amount, like in sugar water solution, water is the solvent because water is present in more amount. So that is your solvent. So true solution is also a homogeneous mixture. So what does it mean? It means both the components will appear to us as a single component. So you will see that it also has solute and solvent. You will see that the component, we have already discussed this thing. So what will be the properties of true solutions? You will see that this is homogeneous mixture, so you can't see its components with the naked eye. So you will say we can't separate them with the filtration, since both the components are appearing to us as a single component, so we can't separate them by filtration, and their particles will not settle down, and you will see that they will also not scatter the beam of light, so they will not show Tyndall effect. So colloidal solution, you will see that colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture. So what does you will see that it, in which both the components will be visible to us, like mixture of starch in water, mixture of egg element in water, all these are your heterogeneous mixture. So these are also called colloidal solutions. So what will be the properties of the colloidal solution? It is heterogeneous mixture, and you will see that particles cannot be seen by the naked eyes, and their particles also can't, because you will see that their size is greater than the true solution but not less than the suspension. So your particle will not, you will see that they do not settle down when the solution is, like you can see the milk is also a colloidal solution. You will see that it appear to us as a homogeneous, but it is actually the heterogeneous mixture, because you will see that in milk there are calcium, fats, proteins dissolved in that. So you will see that colloidal solutions, when we scatter a beam of light, then you will see that their path of the light will be visible, and this effect is your Tyndall effect, and colloidal solution show the Tyndall effect. So another type of the mixture is your suspension. So suspension is also a heterogeneous mixture. So like sand in water, solution of chalk powder in water. So what will be the properties? You will see that it is heterogeneous in mixture, and you can see that now the size of particles are big. You can see them with the naked eye. Like true solution very less, we can't see them. And colloidal solution, it is also heterogeneous, but size of particles is less than the suspension. So you can see that in suspension particles, since particles are easily visible, so they can be separated by the filtration methods. So you will see that what will happen if we left some time undisturbed for the solution, you will suspension, you will see that the particles, solute particles will settle down at the bottom, and the solution is unstable. So you will see that they also scatter a beam of light through it. So here you may see that the suspension particles can be separated by filtration, and you will say solute particles settle down. If they settle down, it means the solution is unstable, because if it is stable, then it will remain as it is. We have left it. It should be like that. In that case, we can say that the solution is stable, to which it has not shown any change, but you will see that here the solution is unstable, because we have left this like this. But what result we will got in the end? You will see that the particles will settle down. So in this way, both the composition are appearing to us as different, so this is unstable. So you can see that this is the Tyndall effect shown. So Tyndall effect, you will see that when the path of the light is visible, such process is your Tyndall effect. Like colloidal solution, when we pass the light through them, you will see that the path of the light is visible. Like you can see that in the dense canopy, when the light enters the dense canopy of the forest, it will show Tyndall effect. It will, then the path of this light is visible to us, like light entering into this small room. Here you can also see the Tyndall effect is going on. These all are the examples in which the Tyndall effect is shown. So saturated solution, you will see that suppose I am dissolving sugar in water, then we can dissolve up to limited amount of the sugar into that particular amount of the water. After that, one stage will come when no more sugar can be dissolved into that solution is your saturated solution. So when no more amount of solute can be dissolved in a particular solution at a particular temperature, that is your saturated solution. So solubility, you will see that amount of solute present in a saturated solution. Unsaturated solution, when more amount of the solute can be dissolved in a solution at that temperature, that solution is your unsaturated solution. So you can see that how we can make a saturated solution unsaturated. You will see that we can easily make a saturated solution unsaturated by increasing the temperature. You will see that now more and more amount of solute can be dissolved into that, and by also increasing the amount of the solvent we can also make a saturated solution unsaturated. So this is the method how we can find out the concentration. There are the three methods like mass by mass, mass by volume, and another is also volume by volume. So what will be the concentration? Concentration is the amount of solute which is present in a given solvent. So what will be the formula for the concentration? Amount of solute divided by the amount of solution. So concentration can be expressed by mass. Here you can see that the formula will be like this: mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. So volume, mass by volume. So above we will write down mass of solute, at the denominator we will write down the volume of solution into the 100. These are the methods by which we can find out the concentration.